project, which we just got funded this year. And so a percentage of that would go to administration costs also. And so, you know, we try to streamline everything, and we're hoping to take less off administration costs and more on direct services. But, you know, that takes some time to achieve.
You know, I think it's really, really important for the communities to know, Emily, that in these programs, since they are reimbursement programs, it's a real balancing act, I would assume. And you have to have these people that are on top of every single dollar every single month in order to get that reimbursement. So when sometimes people slip and don't put money in the right bucket, that's not theft, it's just mismanagement. And but this is really, really a difficult balancing act, I would think.
It is, and we, you know, we're getting a lot of assistance from the state, from our funders, and they're giving us a lot of guidance. And we get a lot of technical support from the Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And we're making sure that we're managing that money to the best of its ability.
But that, as I say, it's really, really hard to manage the funds when they are really tight and you're having to be reimbursed and not have any money up front to work with except that you can put together. From as soon as you're reimbursed, then you can take that little bit of money and put it back into, you know, it's a constant kind of thing, I would think.
It is. We have one of the important things, I think, when running an organization like this is to have good audits. And so we do an annual audit, and for FY20, we're going to be starting our audit this month of November. And we believe it's going to be a very good audit, clean audit, and this audit will allow us to show our funders that we are, we have all the internal controls in place to manage this money.
Well, part of audits are the policies that you're working under. And so if you have good policies and if you have good procedures, because that's what the audit is looking for. Are you following your policy? Are you following the procedures? That's one of the things that I always thought as a business person, an audit told me where my money was. As a school board member, it told us we were not following policies or procedures, which blew me away. I mean, I'm going like, wait, where's the money? Where's the money? Because the money was going out the door sometimes at the schools and we didn't know. Oh, wow. But this kind of thing, I would think that having a little in-house audit every single month for a while would be a really, really good advantage for you kids. Just very simple, not a big audit, but just simply, are we following this? Are we doing that?
Yeah, we've conducted an agency-wide risk assessment. So we've identified a lot of the areas that we need to improve, and we've brought in the expertise to help us achieve those goals.
I think that's helpful.
Yeah.
So that, you tell me we have 16 employees?
We do.
Okay, and so how many people are working directly with staff?
With the people that we serve?
I mean with the clients.
That would be 12 individuals.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, and what do they do? I mean, do they intake or?
They're answering crisis calls, they're doing intakes, they're doing assessments, they're doing service plans, they're doing safety plans, they're helping them communicate or navigate community resources. You know, they're doing court accompaniment. You know, we're working with all the courts. We got the Zuni courts, the Navajo courts, the Pueblo courts, magistrate district here in McKinley County.
Right, and you kids go with them. You go with battered women to the court system, don't you?
Yes. Well, right now, because of the COVID pandemic, we've got equipment installed into our office, so we're able to link directly into the court.
Okay.
Courtroom and talk with the attorneys and the judges directly. So it's like a Zoom session.
Do you where are the call people? Where are your 800 people? Are they working out of here? Are they working out of Gallup, or are they working from somewhere else?
We work out of the shelter. So
Out of the shelter,
yeah,
so-
we've been in operation the entire time since February, March to now.
Okay.
So that 800 line has been up the entire time. We've been providing services and emergency shelters the entire time. So what we have adjusted to is really spacing out the individuals and limiting our capacity. So prior, the shelter could host up between 25 to 28 people. And so at this point, because we only have 5 rooms in our shelter, we can hold 5 individuals or 5 family units.
Right.
And if we exceed that, then we start putting them into hotels.
So when you have more than that, then you've got, where do you take them?
We have arrangements with a few local hotels.
Oh, okay.
And so they go we place them there. And anybody that comes into our service, we have them tested for COVID. It's a policy we encourage. It's not mandated, but it helps us identify if there's a situation that we need to react to in a different manner.
But so do you go to the motel, or do the ladies come back to the shelter for programs?
We provide transportation, so we'll either have the counseling sessions that take place at the hotels, or they can come to the administration office.
Okay.
And so then the food is also provided for them at the hotels directly.
Yeah, who knew that COVID would upset you guys' schedules?
It's been an adjustment, and we've had to be creative and innovative in a lot of our services.
Has we're just about ready for a commercial break, so I think we'll go ahead and take a commercial break, and
Okay.
When we come back, I've got a ton more questions, so please stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to This Week in Gallup. I'm Barbara Stanley, and I'm visiting with Emily Ellison, and she is the new director of the Battered Family Services here in Gallup.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things that I thought we should do tonight is probably walk through the system.
Okay.
For years, and I don't know, maybe my information is very, very wrong, but Do you still recommend that women who are in those precarious situations have sort of a bag of information that they keep together with their kids' birth certificates, their social security numbers, all of that?
Yes, we do.
And what do you suggest they have in it, Emily?
Well, any important vital documents related to, verifying identity, such as birth certificates, social security cards, with the Navajo women, Native women, CIB, so certificate of Indian blood. Really, that's the core of that. And what we're finding is when people do come to our shelter, they don't have those documents together, and a lot of the individuals haven't transferred their licenses over to the new New Mexico Real ID license process, so that's something that we help them with.
Right. So that, they've got to keep all their paperwork up to date, but they also really need to keep it in one spot so they can grab it and go.
Right.
And I always suggest too that along with the grab and go stuff, they put a toothbrush and toothpaste. You feel so much better if you brush your teeth. Huh? I mean, that's a small kind of thing. When is the time to go? I mean, when should a woman go? When she's been beat so badly she can barely crawl out the door, or when she sees it coming?
I would say, at a time that's safe for her, that she would make a safe escape. And so that would require some planning time, making the arrangements that are needed to get out of the situation in a safe way. And so that would involve getting the help of family and friends, being part of that process.
Do the children, do they often not want to leave?
Children, they love their parents, whether it's the mother.
They love both of them.
Right, regardless of the abuse that they witness. And it's always a traumatic experience for them. So generally they don't, but they also want to be in a safe place. So, it's really difficult for them.
That's, that's really, really sad. How often now, I mean, it used to be that women were pretty safe as long as they were getting beat up in the home. As soon as they decided to leave is when, that's when the real violence happened, that's when they were killed, and that's when, murders happened and that kind of thing. Is that still happening? Or not so much in McKinley County?
Well, one of the things that I've been able to identify is that our services is one of the last resorts before women go missing and murdered. And a lot of the times, if we look back at the information that we do have at hand, there's alcohol or drugs involved. In times when the individual is in an altered state of mind. And it's related to intimate partner violence, it's related to family violence. And there's always a pattern of abuse that has been identified for some time. So we really just try to advocate on letting them know that yes, this is a difficult topic to talk about because it's a taboo. It involves personal family information, and shame, and these are negative feelings that we as individuals don't really want to deal with. And again, if it's a woman's choice to stay or to leave, and that's one of the things that sometimes it's hard to accept when you're providing direct services, because these abusers, these are individuals the person loves, and this is the children of the father of their children or the mother of their children. So we try to keep our values separate and continue to provide the services, regardless of how repetitive it may seem to us.
A long time ago, way before, while you were very young, Emily, the policemen throughout the country, not just McKinley County, but throughout the country, really didn't want to get involved in this battered bit. And they always say now that probably the most dangerous call that they get is when there's a battered family situation.
Mm-hmm.
Have the police changed their attitude toward the female? Or is the attitude still, oh my God, if she'd have been better, this wouldn't have happened?
I would say I think there's definitely a change in the policing
Is it
culture.
changing?
In policing culture in relationship to domestic violence. We do have the local law enforcement reaches out to us, and they utilize our services. They, it's definitely, they understand that this is a situation where there's a lot of gray. It's not black and white on who the perpetrator is or how the incident started or whether the behaviors of both people aggravated the situation. And so they do their best to make good judgment, and I think at the end of the day, it's about making sure people are safe.
Are they, when the police are called, or if there is an altercation there, are they taking men to jail? Or normally not?
I would say for the most part, the perpetrator does go to jail, and it's generally, I would not say it's always the male, because there are female offenders, there are female abusers.
Well, that, but I'm just wondering if, because don't you have court-ordered kinds of situations?
We do.
That allows you to work with the batterer, doesn't it?
Yes. And so we've got the offender program, and we talk with these individuals, parole officers, probation officers, and we encourage them to visit our therapist, our counselor. And what we're finding with a lot of the offenders is it's a learned behavior pattern, and talking about feelings, talking about the trauma that we've experienced in our lives, and that affects the decisions that we make in stressful situations. And so at the end of the day, we're wanting to help both the survivor and the offender to lead a better life going forward and make better decisions.
Since we've been working with the batterers, have we seen a decided decrease in battering? I mean, has that really been effective? Or do we know?
So the offender program is a relatively new concept. I think it's been in practice for maybe 5, 6, 7 years now, and so there really isn't enough data to track that. But with the data that we do have, we believe that it's reducing repeated behavior or repeated offender.
So they're not coming back and back through the system.
Yes, because
one of the things that you and I talked about earlier is children, I think, learn this behavior, this violence that is happening in their home. It continues after they grow up if nobody intervenes.
Yes.
So do we have intervention programs for the kids?
What we've battered families this past year receive a Children Capacity Building Project grant. And so we're now in the process of getting our staff trained, developing the curriculum, developing the policies and the resources to provide those services to the students or to the children that are involved in situations like this.
Yeah, I think if there's ever a solution, Emily, I mean, and I don't think there will be one for years, but it's going to be working with the kids. And because I really believe that this is learned behavior.
Yes.
And whether it's just the yelling, maybe in one house it's just yelling, but then that grows to something more violent and more violent and more violent.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's any kind of violence in the home, I think it sort of fosters the idea that this is an acceptable way to be.
And that's where we need to get exposure to these children about good, relationship behaviors, modeling, getting them with individuals who can model good habits, good relationship habits. And our program is really aiming to help build resiliency in children. So when they experience this trauma, they see it, that they can overcome it with the tools and techniques that we can help with. And so again, we really want to be successful in the work that we do.
Well, good luck to you, because this is a really, really needed program here. We're delighted that you're doing this. And is there anything the community can do for you?
Well, we've received a lot of support from the Gallup and surrounding community. We're, saturated with donations, so thank you for that.
And we can talk to our legislators, I imagine.
Yes, we definitely get a lot of support from our elected leaders.
And please continue to support Battered Family Services, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so in the upcoming legislative session, one of the areas that we do need a lot of help in is getting an updated building, getting a new shelter, because COVID has cut our capacity in half. And Battered Families has been in the region since 1979. And a lot of our buildings are antiquated, and we'd like to get that addressed so we can continue providing good services.
Talk to your legislators.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thanks for coming in, and anytime you want to come back and give us an update, we'll be delighted.
I really appreciate this, Barbara.
Thank you. We'll see you next. Yeah, and we'll be back next week, and I'm trying to remember. Somebody's going to be on, so we'll see you then, and it's going to be a great program. Thanks for watching, and good night.